Activated.
Analyzing.
Update complete.
Things had gotten dire. After stopping the Borg from being able to assimilate a planet, the Borg had captured an Undyne and were attempting to assimilate it. Jarrell and his crew were in hot pursuit of the cube. Along the way, an Undyne ship had also began pursuit of the cube, and unfortunately, the Akira-class ship wouldn't be able to maintain its warp speed to keep up with the two enemy ships. The vessels would get away. Jarrell and his crew would be recalled to Starfleet Command. Oh, hello. Why am I not talking to the Admiral? Ah, so there's a jerk who won't move so that I can get a clean shot for this joke. Gotcha. Well, anyway, I apologize for not being able to catch the Borg ship, sir. We can only imagine the Undyne is being assimilated right now as we speak, and there's nothing we can do. Oh wait, you have a way of catching up? A drive that allows you to instantly go almost anywhere? Oh wow, that is insane! Did we just develop this technology? Wait, we've had it since the 22nd century? Why haven't we used it? The Klingon-Cardassian War, Klingon Federation War, Wolf 359, Sector 001, the Dominion War? Voyager? So we've had this tech that existed since before the Enterprise A, and the reason we didn't use it is because it gave someone a headache. That's about as stupid as someone who basically paid $20 to get the ship to do a fracking joke to take a cheap shot at Star Trek Discovery. I swear to God, you idiots are the biggest bunch of dumbasses I've ever had to deal with. After having his memory wiped and told that the spore drive was basically just warp drive, Jarrell and his crew would be able to instantly catch up with the Borg cube. After appearing right next to it, they would have to engage multiple Borg ships in order to get to the cube, even though I just said they had a drive that could bypass any reinforcements. Yeah. Anyway, because they were using a ship that was built in the 22nd century, it would feel like at least 30 minutes to an hour of battling just two ships. Jarrell would call in reinforcements to assist during the fights, though unfortunately the reinforcements would only arrive 15 minutes exactly after being called before and wouldn't follow along. They'd just stay in the general location of where they were called. The battles would be tough, but ultimately Jarrell and his crew would come near disabling the Borg cube. The cube itself would attempt to escape when Undyne fissures would begin to appear everywhere, and Undyne ships would flood out. Because quantum, the Starfleet crew would be able to determine that the Borg had found a way to create a beachhead within fluidic space, even though the ship wasn't in fluidic space, and technically I don't think they were able to scan into fluidic space unless they were in fluidic space, but okay, we figured it out. And they were able to determine that the Borg had a beachhead within fluidic space itself, attacking the Undyne. While the Undyne, the Borg, and the Crossfield-class ship would continue to fight, Jarrell would find a way to beam onto the Borg cube in order to save the Undyne. The captain and the entire bridge crew would, of course, beam over in an attempt to determine where the Undyne was and how to save them. As stated, the most valuable officers, who have now put themselves in an unreasonable amount of danger by transporting over, would look for the Undyne and fight their way through the Borg ship. They would discover that the Borg were conducting successful tests in assimilating the Undyne. The away team would try hard to stop the Borg and assist the Undyne, though they were more just trying to stop the Borg than worrying about saving the Undyne. So it's nice to know that Janeway's policies of screwing over Species 8472 without attempting diplomacy is alive and well in Star Trek Online. After defeating the Borg, the Undyne would kill themselves instead of becoming assimilated. The crew continued to make their way through the ship, finding Undyne in more and more advanced stages of assimilation. It would be crazy how every time they came upon another Undyne, it was more assimilated. As if the Borg ship had been designed so the Undyne would be found that way, versus having the Undyne in different stages of assimilation together to better study the effects and what was effective and what was not. Ultimately, the Starfleet officers came upon their worst nightmare: a completely assimilated Species 8472, a godlike Undyne. Why would an assimilated Undyne be their worst nightmare? Well, I don't know really. The Borg don't generally use major advances given to them, such as the cloaking devices of the Romulans and Klingons, nor really any massive advancement has ever been used by the Borg from the Alpha Quadrant. They also don't use subterfuge, so Undyne shape-shifting wouldn't be something they'd look for. But I guess the reason is horrifyingly easy. The reason why an Undyne is a nightmare is because quantum. Jarrell and his crew would fight for their lives against the Undyne. Unfortunately for them, they would find that the Undyne was a spawn-killing, dirty motherfucker shit-stained son of a bitch who would instantly come to their spawn point and kill you because his fucking ballsack wasn't big enough. Jarrell and his crew would fight for their lives against the Undyne. The Undyne would continue to push them back. The officers would be wary and stay back to prevent themselves from being assimilated. And finally, the behemoth would fall. After the defeat of Species 8472, Jarrell would blow the central core and download the information the Borg had done. He would ensure that the Borg cube could not transmit the information to the collective, and ultimately the Crossfield would prepare for battle. They could not allow the Borg ship to escape. Luckily, Undying ships would appear and destroy the cube before Jarrell would have to sit there for another 40 minutes to defeat the damn thing. Jarrell would order an immediate retreat so that he would not have to fight the Undying. The mission was a mixed bag. They had gained knowledge of how to get into fluidic space and would be able to attempt to stop the Borg from defeating the Undying. They had also stopped the cube from sending information on how to assimilate Species 8472, but it was all a matter of time. Another cube would figure out how to do it, so they would have to storm fluidic space and save Species 8472. And be assured, this time it would be in a ship that could actually take a shot from a Borg cube, 'cause screw this noise.